for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello and good evening. I'm Steve Eager.
And I'm Heather Hayes. There have been no easy answers, only hard decisions during a 3-week legal battle over a 9-year-old girl on life support.
Now, in very blunt language, Cook Children's Medical Center calls it unethical to keep Peyton Summons on a ventilator because the hospital has declared her brain dead. The hospital says it sympathizes with Peyton's family and wants to support them, but is also fighting a court-ordered extension on her life support treatment. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado is in Fort Worth tonight, continuing his coverage of this case. Phil.
Well, Steve, Cook Children's Hospital has said it before, but in their written appeal, they're as direct as they have ever been about why they believe that 9-year-old Peyton Summons should no longer be kept on life support. Peyton Summons has been on a ventilator since she was taken to Cook Children's in cardiac arrest on September 25th. Her family received a court-ordered extension to keep her on life support until Monday. But in very blunt terms, the hospital is appealing that decision, saying Peyton is deceased. This is not a close call. The family's attorneys dispute that help is too late.
This is a difficult case for all parties involved, it is our belief that we have done all that we can to try to protect not only the interest of Peyton, but also the interest of her parents.
Peyton's mother, Tiffany Hofstetter, believes her daughter could have a chance to recover if she's moved to another facility that would keep her on life support. So far, no other facilities among dozens approached has agreed to do that.
The court has granted additional time based on additional information which became available subsequent to the Wednesday temporary injunction hearing to pursue those options. And so Cook Children's has decided to try to foreclose those options, both contrary to what the court has issued, contrary to the parents' wishes.
Cook Children's says 24 hours after the 9-year-old arrived, they did a brain scan that showed no activity indicating she was brain dead. The appeal document states to maintain a dead person on mechanical ventilation and insist, in fact, order that healthcare providers continue treating a deceased, deteriorating body is, however, medically, ethically, and morally repugnant. The hospital argues the judge had no authority to extend a restraining order that had expired several hours earlier.
For the hospital to now file an appellate mandamus, which is certainly their right legally, rather than to assist the patient or the hospital or the parents in contacting other facilities, would not be the choice that I would make.
Cook Children's says it will continue to support the family during this difficult time.
Peyton has not been determined to be dead legally. She has not been pronounced dead. And we believe that in accordance with standard practices of medicine, that additional facilities should be investigated.
When the judge approved that 7-day extension, the parents agreed that on Monday that they would allow the hospital to perform that second brain scan, and if there were still no activity, then that Peyton would be taken off life support at 6 o'clock when that extension expires. Steve?
All right, Phil Alvarado, thank you very much. A Dallas ISD police officer trying to stop a robber opened fire in a parking lot of an East Dallas Whole Foods market.
Now, police say a man approached a woman who was putting groceries in her car, grabbed her purse. She yelled for help when she saw a Dallas ISD officer nearby, and the purse snatcher tried to run over that officer. Fox 4's Allison Harris is at the scene now in East Dallas with the latest. Allison.
Steve and Heather, Dallas police say a man was driving around this Whole Foods parking lot at Gaston and Abrams just before 1 o'clock in a gray Infiniti when he pulled up to a woman who was putting groceries away in her car. Police say he rolled down his window and started talking to her, trying to steal her purse. That's when police say she made eye contact with a Dallas ISD police officer who happened to be at Whole Foods on his lunch break. Police say she called out to the officer for help. At that time, the suspect vehicle started driving away but drove towards the officer, trying to run him over. Police say in response, the officer pulled his gun and fired at least twice. No one was shot and the officer is not injured, but there is damage to that officer's police vehicle.
Right now, we believe there were 2 shots fired. There were witnesses in the parking lot, and at this time, that's why we are encouraging anybody that may have seen something that left prior to officers getting out here. We encourage them to call in and give us that information that they did see.
Police said that the suspect drove into the officer's vehicle as he was trying to get away. Police described this suspect as a Latin man in his 30s with average build and height with a well-groomed beard. Police do not believe that he had a weapon on him, but they can't be certain. He was able to get away with some of the contents of her purse, but police have not said what those contents are specifically. Police are talking to people in this area, talking to the business owners and looking at surveillance video, trying to get a better idea of who this suspect is. That officer was on duty, so he was in uniform. Right now, he is on leave with Dallas ISD Police as this is under investigation. Steve and Heather.
All right, Allison, we'll wait to hear what we learn over the next few hours and report it on Fox 4 News at 9. Thank you. There will be a brief break in the rain before we get another wave of showers that are expected tomorrow and then again Friday. Take a look at Joe Pool Lake. It's about 10 feet above normal. Most of our lakes and rivers in the area are full because of the rain and then the runoff. Chief Meteorologist Dan Henry has a look at what's in store next. Dan.
Yeah, we've got a break that'll be on the way here in the rain later on this evening into the overnight. But at this moment in time, we still have quite a bit of rain on radar to show you. I'll do that momentarily. Let's look first at the rain timeline. High rain chances early this evening, taper to medium chances by about 8, 9 o'clock. And then as we head towards midnight into the overnight, they'll go down to a low chance. That said, areas south of I-20 have already pretty much dried out, so I don't think you're going to get too much additional rainfall if you live down through Johnson and Ellis counties and points south. It still continues, though, in Fort Worth, much of northern Tarrant County, northern Dallas County, and especially as you head through Denton and Collin counties on up towards the Red River. The yellow colors there indicating some pockets of moderate rain, but most of it is on the lighter side. Temperatures right now range from only the mid-40s in Graham and Stephenville to the upper 50s up around the Paris area. Coming up, we'll talk about rain chances on the rise yet again, but we do have some good news. We'll share that with you with your 7-day forecast coming up.
Everyone made it out safely before a Coppell ISD school bus caught fire. Within minutes, the empty bus was engulfed in flames. 2 students and a bus monitor were able to escape, and the bus driver is being credited for acting quickly. Fox 4's Natalie Solis is live at the Coppell ISD Administration Building with the story. Natalie.
Well, Heather, this is one of those stories that could have ended so much worse, and the dramatic pictures prove it. Take a look. This is cell phone video from passerby Juan Vasquez just off Highway 161 between Royal and MacArthur. The school bus fully involved, flames shooting through every window and door when firefighters arrived. Firefighters say the quick-thinking bus driver pulled off the road to an isolated place and evacuated 2 students and a bus monitor who were on their way to Valley Ranch Elementary School. They managed to clear the bus before any sign of flames.
My hats are off to the driver and the bus monitor. They were paying attention, aware of their surroundings. Their first and primary focus was the students and their safety and well-being.
We have no idea what caused it at this time. We're still looking into that to determine it.
The district says 3 buses of the same make, model, and fuel type as the one this morning are undergoing safety inspections along with additional inspections of the entire fleet. Generally, the buses are inspected every 120 days. The bus from this morning last inspected on August 3rd. And again, there were no injuries, although we are told that bus monitor who was on board complained of a sore throat, possibly from smoke inhalation. That person now home resting. Heather?
All right, Natalie, thank you.
A stretch of I-35 in Carrollton has reopened after part of the freeway buckled last night, causing a series of accidents. TxDOT crews are still working to make repairs and will close all but one of the northbound lanes tonight to take a closer look at the damage. The buckled surface caused backups this morning when the traffic was narrowed down to one lane. All the recent rain is creating challenges for work crews. Fox 4's James Rose is out there near the scene right now. James.
Right, Steve, you can still see some of the damage to the guardrail where a number of those crashes happened last night about this time. Carrollton police say it's not unusual for them to work crashes, but when they got to the scene and what they found causing the crashes surprised them.
614, I'm going to need some other units up here. My squad just got hit. I was not in it. I am okay.
That's what happened to the first Carrollton police officer who stopped to help 2 other crashed vehicles about 6:40 Tuesday evening on I-35 northbound at the Beltline exit in Carrollton. No one was seriously injured, but police say a flurry of 5 crashes occurred in minutes.
Back to back to back, you know, probably under 8 minutes that they all happened.
Carrollton police spokeswoman Jolene DeVito says once police assessed the situation, they found the source of the trouble in the middle of I-35.
That the middle lane was significantly higher than the far left lane, and upon inspection, the roadway surface had separated. The left lane had sunk.
TxDOT is now working to repair the stretch of northbound I-35 from Crosby Road to Valwood Parkway. The buckled roadway caused big backups on Wednesday morning, with the northbound side narrowed to a single lane as TxDOT crews worked on grinding down the surface and removing the buckled asphalt.
I don't know that we've ever seen this, where the road, it looks like there's a curb right in the middle of the highway between the middle and left lanes.
Carrollton police say they've seen other significant potholes along I-35 recently.
It does illustrate how dangerous the job is that these officers do on a daily basis.
Now, TxDOT says it's unclear exactly what caused this stretch of highway to buckle. So when they shut down the lanes tonight at 9 o'clock from 3 to 1 lane going northbound, they'll take a closer look at that roadway. The goal is to put a new surface over that. That's expected to be a permanent overlay. Steve?
James Rose in Carrollton, thanks.
The father of a little girl brutally beaten to death came face to face with her killers in a courtroom today. From the witness stand, Brian Maker addressed Jerry Quesada, charged with injury to a child in the beating death, and her boyfriend, Charles Pfeiffer. A jury convicted Pfeiffer of capital murder Monday. Maker, who had limited visitation with Leliana, said the last time he saw his daughter, she begged him not to return her to her mother, Jerry Quesada. Maker filed reports with CPS, but he says he received no response. The agency has since made sweeping changes.
The moment she saw your vehicle that day, she screamed and cried and begged me not to send her back with you. She dug her little fingernails into my arm, into my sides, even into my leg, begging me not to send her back with you.
He covered me the whole week with no tears, and now I can go home and cry.
That's juror Cheryl Richardson. She came back to court today to hear Leliana's family members confront the 2 people convicted in the little girl's death. She said the DNA evidence that linked Pfeiffer and Leliana to a glove was a key piece of evidence to her in the case.
Friends of a Dallas area musician are mourning his death as his girlfriend sits in jail charged with murder. Dallas police say 52-year-old Brian Klein was pushed into traffic last night by 29-year-old Quantara Melton. He was taken from Skillman Street in Lake Highlands to the hospital where he died. Klein was a former drummer with the local band Junk and worked at a bar in the lower Greenville area.
Gentle guy, man. He's gentle. Gentle guy. He was just a nice guy. I mean, just chill.
Everybody knew him. He'd have a bunch of friends up here come in just to see him. You'd always see him walking up and down the street. He was a good guy. You could laugh, and the stories he would tell, too.
Again, Melton is charged with murder. Her bond is right now set at $250,000. Flooding in central Texas could now be responsible for even more deaths, and more rain is on the way.